This is the Christopher Complex. For the Christopher Complex Show, how you guys doing today? Check it out. I'm coming to you in each and every way. Tonight's Good Evening Grinder is about you gotta do that. Let me say it correctly. You have to do that. You have to do that. You have to do that. So you grinding, so you moving, so you shaking, so you're doing everything that you have to do. But that. And you don't want to do that because you think you're thin. You spread thin. So I'm just going to say something we talked about before, just in a different way. Because maybe when you hear it in a different way, it translates better. It's still about capacity. But sometimes when we are doing our thing, we say, I don't want to do that because I'm spread thin, I'm too tight, and not enough time. That is your thinking, your perception. If you flip it, change it, if you look at it a different way, come at a different angle, that thing that you have to do that keeps coming up into your, presence, it keeps coming in your face, you're going to have to do that. I'll give you an example. So, in this day and age, everything is moving digitally. And some of us are going to get left behind, like we may have gotten left behind when the internet started, when computers started, when Microsoft Office, I remember when that was the thing. And we said, I don't want to do that because I already have enough on my plate. The funny thing about us thinking about the future and progress, we think about the fantasy of how advanced we're going to be, how smart we're going to be, how capable, there's that word capacity again, capable we're going to be. But when someone actually says, okay, in order for us to do that, you're going to have to start doing that thing that you don't want to do, that thing that you don't want to add on, that little thing that you don't think you can take on, but you have no choice if you're going to progress. You have new technologies coming out all of the time. You have progress coming out all of the time. And it seems that a lot of authors, a lot of writers, a lot of thinkers have all said it. One thing human beings do well, that's progress on a whole. Could be for the bad sometimes, but most of the times, we'll gripe about things staying the same, but we eventually just make them change. It could be the gentrification of a neighborhood. The building's old and we change the buildings up. It could be how we use energy. It could be how we create. It could be how we grind, or how we are supposed to grind. So let's say you have your project and you're thinking all this time, when I get to this point, I'm just going to get somebody to do that. Did you ever think for once that's possible that thing that you don't want to do, the market is not going to make that available to you anymore, because those people that could do that thing, let's just say that thing is organizing, logo making, or learning how to write copy, learning how to send out email, or learning new technologies like voice. When you say, I don't have time for that thing, or I'm not going to do that thing, you have to pay attention to the market. You have to pay attention to the trends. You have to pay attention to everything that's going around you, because you may get you to a point where you are the only one that can do it because no one else is doing it. You may have to do that thing because it will save you money. You may have to do that thing because it would make you greater as the creator, as the person that will eventually be the manager, the executor, the producer of the work, the facilitator, the one that will actually manifest, the manifestor. You may have to do that thing. That thing that you were complaining about in your grind, you may have to learn because you don't have the money. And that's the thing that's standing in your way. And maybe you're stiff-necked and tough and stubborn-minded that you don't want to open up your capabilities, your horizons, your vision, your toolbox and add this extra tool. So there's new technology going on, obviously. There's a lot of new technology. And whatever you're doing, even if it's something that's old, tried, and true, there could be another thing that you could do to make it better. If you're a photographer and you don't want to learn how to edit on the computer and you keep saying somebody else is going to do it, I think it would be in your best interest for you to say, I need to learn how to do that thing. If it's simply as that learning that thing is going to slow down progress, don't you think not learning that thing is going to really slow down that progress of your project, dream, goal, aspiration? I do music. Some of you guys know. We'll talk about where you can find it later. This is really about, as I always said, I needed to hear the right things sometimes to make me go. So, for instance, my own personal beef right now is just mixing and mastering. I like to create, but as a producer, my ear gets so fatigued that I don't mix right and I don't master right. And so I'm, coming from another gig that I got. I do, some real estate, and done showing the houses. I start thinking about, my music, playing some stuff in the car, and I'm like, man, you would be so productive if you would just buckle down and learn that thing about mastering. Not that I cannot send it to my homeboy in California who's a master's master, but let's just say he don't want to master anymore. God forbid he passes away and those secrets and all of that stuff goes with him. Don't you think it would be easier and faster for you to produce an overabundance amount of songs if you would just learn to master? Yeah, you want to produce something and get it done this week. Maybe put it off for a week and learn some mastering. I'm not saying that that's all it takes to learn mastering. Most mastering engineers tell you you never get perfect or get it. But that's not the point in this conversation. The point is, I'm using the fact that if I would just sit down and try to learn the basics of that thing, it may be in my best interest to produce more music, to push more stuff out. And the more music I push out, the more I release it on the platforms that I like, the faster I can get feedback from an audience. If I would just learn to do that thing. So if you grinding, man, if you up tonight working on your project, if you painting, I'm standing in front of my boy's workshop. He's a painter. He's not up there right now. It's pretty dark right now, but if you're a painter and you want to get better, if you're an artist, if you're a t-shirt maker, whatever it is that you're doing, and just that one little thing, why don't you reconsider tonight to make a commitment to learn that thing? If you have a band and you want more merchandise, maybe you should learn how to make t-shirts. That could be a very simple thing that will work in your benefit and your best interest, and it allow you to capitalize and grow more. If you have a project that's been sitting on the shelf for years, and if you ask yourself this question, well, why can't I get it started? Why can't I get it done? Maybe that's the thing that you need to personally learn instead of waiting on either time, money or time or whatever it is that's holding you up. Maybe you should leverage learning that thing. I hope this makes sense. I hope you have fun with this. I just want you to get better, because if you guys get better, my life gets better. Think about that Apple iPod. Even though I'm not an Apple person, but just think about how it made so many lives better. As well, it could have made some lives worse because a lot of kids addicted to the phones, but made life better. I can communicate to you guys. I can create a podcast. I can create a YouTube channel. I can do a whole myriad of things. Anyway, get on your grind. Get off the couch. Get it in your mind to do that thing that you don't want to do that will get you the progress that you need to get to the next level so the world can finally get a chance to see what you can contribute and do. So go do that thing. Go support somebody. Go learn something. Go, do what you have to do to make your life better. Sorry about that. But go do that thing. Go do that thing that's a struggle. Go do that thing that you just stiff-necked and hard-headed about, and just go learn it. Man, you might open up your world, your mind. You might find friends behind this thing. You may find new acquaintances that will lead you to new networks because you did that thing. You may find that you love doing that thing. So this is the Christopher Complex. This is a good evening grinders session. We're talking about going to do that thing. Go do your thing. Get on up and go do your thing. Check me out on the Twitter at the Chris Complex. We're gonna start to open up that YouTube channel. We're gonna open up the Instagram, do some more stuff, get on Musically. Guess what? I just told y'all a bunch of things that I didn't want to do. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and my mouth where my money is. Anyway, forget the gibberish. But I literally just told you a couple of things that I need to do. And, I initially said, when am I going to find the time to do it? Well, you know what? I'm going to do it. As Tony Robbins said, if you have no extra time, that's when you do it. Anyway, talk to y'all. It's the Christopher Complex. Good evening, grinders.